What's going on, guys? It is the second upload of today, and it is another beautiful day. And today, I want to discuss with you guys a uh, topic that's been in the news for the past month or so, following up the George Floyd incident and everything, and that is this uh, idea of defunding the police. Um, we've seen now places forming like Chaz in the nation, and it's gotten way out of hand. And I just want to give my stance, um, what I think. I've taken a lot of time to think over this, so I didn't just come on here thinking and talking on a whim. Um, so that I had a really solid idea of what I was going to say when I got on here. So, my whole stance, my idea, and I don't want to say stance, but this is where my mindset is right now. And like I said, I want to hear from everybody. I always do. So please comment. I don't think that defunding the police is going to help anything. That isn't the answer. We need police, um, but we need better police. Like, no, I'm not trying to take anything away from any police officers out there that's doing their job, risk their lives every day. I'm not taking anything away from them. There are a lot of good cops. That's true. And you have to be a really special kind of person. You have to be an exceptional person to be a cop. Um, the problem is there are a lot of people that do the job that are not exceptional people, that don't do it because they feel like the badge is calling them, that don't do it because they want to protect law and order. They're doing it because reason X, Y, and Z. Maybe they just want to have that power. Um, and a couple things made me decide to go ahead and make this video. The first one was I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, Joe Rogan's podcast, and if you don't listen to it, you should go and check it out. The one that I'm going to be referencing today is from Jocko Willink, is his name. He is a well-known guy. He's former Navy SEAL, I believe, is what he was talking about. But he said that, and he arrived at the same conclusion that I arrived at, which was the issue here. The scary thing is that the solution is not defunding the police, but it's more of actually funding the police more, so that and allocating resources in the police department, in the academy, so that you have more efficient, better trained, and overall police officers that are ready to deal with stuff than they are right now. Like I said, you have to be the reality is you have to be an exceptional person to be a cop, and being a cop is one of the hardest jobs that you could have. And it's one of the most mentally demanding, um, as well as physically, but it's not the hardest job, one of the hardest jobs to get. Meaning, for what you have to do to get the position, does not train you nearly enough for the job you're going to do. Um, Now, Jocko Willink brought up the fact that he's in the Navy SEAL, and when you're a Navy SEAL, your mind has to be just as trained to deal with situations as your body is. You're a Navy SEAL, you're in shape physically, but even more important than that is your mind, your mental capacity to deal with stressful situations and to keep calm and resist your body's urge to go into adrenaline mode and react on instinct. Like somebody comes up and attacks you from behind, and he talked about all this. When you're a Navy SEAL and you're trained well and you know your mind's conditioned, you know what to do in the moment. You're not acting on adrenaline. You know how to, okay, I know what to do here. I'm going to keep calm, get the situation under control. Now, he brought this up, so go and double check this. But if this is true, this should be enough of a point to convince anybody that you need to fund the police more. On average, police academies go through, sorry about that, go through roughly 2 hours of combat training a year. Yeah, 2 hours of combat training per year, not per week, not per month, per year of combat training. Now, you go through typically you go through a 3-month police academy training, the program, and in a lot of states you just get thrown out into like, okay, you're good, here you go. That does not keep your mind trained to the extent that it needs to be trained to deal with situations that a cop goes into every day. A cop goes into pull over a car. Yeah, that cop doesn't know what you could roll down the window. That could be the last time he stands there. He could, he doesn't know. You could have a gun pointed at him behind that stained glass window, you don't know. He doesn't know. But here's the thing. You need to be trained mentally and physically for those kind of things. So that, like I said, Jocko Willink was talking about, you need to train almost like you would need to be a Navy SEAL. You need to train your mind as well to deal with the amount of crap a cop sees every day. Murders, he walks in on rapes, he walks in on, you name it, shit that you and I would never, most of us won't even ever see in our lives, like in person. And they do it every day. That being said, I am not defending, I don't want this to get misconstrued, any cop that acts unjustly. Case in point, the cop in George Floyd video, all four of those. Especially Chauvin, is that his name? I say his last name? Let me censor myself. He deserves to get the sentence, go to prison for the rest of his life. He should not see the light of day, from what I've seen, in my opinion. Now, that being said, there are bad people. Raising funding and allocating money and resources to areas where it needs improvement, especially in the area of policing, that should be the solution. In my opinion, you can't disband the police. You can't. You need cops. It's something that you need. And most cops are good. There are cops that are bad, though. They shouldn't be able to wear the badge. They have a temperament. They can't deal with it. Maybe they're racist. Case in point, everything that's going on right now. They may be racist. Regardless of what their motive is, they're bad. They cannot deal with it. They should not be able to wear a badge. They should not be able to carry a gun. They don't have the mental capacity to deal with it. And when you don't have the mental capacity to deal with that, and you're put into a position of power, bad things happen. So I think you need more funding, more consistent training, a hell of a lot more than 2 hours of combat training a year on average, and more importantly, they need to deal with the cop's emotional state on a more consistent basis, which isn't done nearly enough. They need to be able to tell that a cop is in the right mind going into a mission. Like Jocko Willink also said that when he went on missions with his team, he was discussing the idea that through the op, if part of his team, somebody on his team was feeling, messed up, a little bit like shaken. It's not right. Like he needs to back down or whatever. They would ask him like, "Hey, how's your team doing? And does anyone need to go home early?" Because they don't want that man there if he's going to be compromised and he's not in the right state of mind to do the mission he has to do. It should be the same way with cops. You know, see, working and doing that job so much, it's going to have a mental toll on you. A cop can get just as much PTSD as a soldier can. The kind of crap some cops see, you know? It's so my opinion, and please let me hear what you think down below. If you can give me a good reason for defunding the police and give me a solution to how we can get around this and how we can not get around it, get through this and come out the other end better by defunding the police, I'd love to hear it. But I've thought about this for 2 weeks now, hearing all this, and I was like, there's no scenario where I go through in my head and dismantling police department. We need cops. We do. You can't dismantle them. Now, like I said, there are areas in, was it Camden, I believe, a few years back. There was so much toxicity, and there's so many compromised officers and dirty cops, and all wound into the base of that police unit, that they did disband it. They did disband it, and they built a new one from scratch. Sometimes police departments are that corrupt that's the answer. And Jocko Willink drew a parallel to that as well, and he said, yeah, that happens with Navy SEAL teams. Rarely, but sometimes you get one that's like, this guy's a bad leader, his mind is, is all, and these guys aren't well trained, and they're all hotheads or whatever you want, and they have to dismantle the whole SEAL team and come back in with a new team. It happens. But you don't get rid of cops or Navy SEALs altogether, You need to find a way to make them better trained, and you need these avenues and these stop signs to assess people. Be like, wait, are you okay to continue? Are you well enough prepared to deal with this rationally? And can you de-escalate a situation when faced by rather than escalate it? One of the most important things a cop can be able to do is walk up to somebody and de-escalate, and not instantly say, get the F on the ground, if you don't, I'm going to shoot you. You know what I mean? You don't want everything to come, like I was watching a video the other day. I gotta find this, I'll put the link in there. A man was pulled over for a speeding ticket. He said he was going 55 in a 50 or 45 or something. He was going between 5 and 10 miles an hour over. Okay, he pulled over. The cop pulled him over. He was ready to give him his license and registration, and the cop says, can you please step out of the car? And he said, well, why do you want me to step out of the car? Is there some reason? Now, if the cop had a tip, personally, I probably would have just gotten out of the car and then asked him, be like, do you mind asking me why I'm stepping out of my car, right? Maybe he got a tip on the car is the same, whatever. But this guy just genuinely seemed like, I was speeding, why are you? And then this cop started threatening him, like immediately after, was like, sir, get out of the car or I'm going to pepper spray you. Pulled it out. Now, you as a cop should de-escalate. You shouldn't jump right to escalation. At the same time, I would have gotten out of the car and just asked the cop. So I think there's work to be done on both sides here. But the cop needs to be better trained, and people that are very fast to judge how cops act, try to make the cop feel as comfortable as he can. There are cops that walk up to a window and they are going to try to do their job to the best of their ability, but they're also freaked out because if you're not totally prepared to deal with everything, like I said, this could be your last time walking up to a windshield. He doesn't know that. So, whatever you can do as a citizen to make the cop feel more safe, and the same thing can be said for the cop. The cop needs to make you feel safe. You should be on the same side. You and the cop are there to make sure that society is running smoothly. Like, it's your duty as a citizen, if you see somebody with a whatever expired license plate or no license plate or something weird in the neighborhood, you should call a cop. You're on the same side, so the cop can come and deal with it. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. I spent a lot of time thinking over it. And bottom line, cops should get paid more because it is an extremely difficult job, but it's not hard enough to get, in my opinion. Better funding in terms of allocation of resources and training to a mental standpoint as well as physical. And yeah, that's basically, I just don't see any avenue we can go down to where you can just rid the world of police. It wouldn't work. But that's my opinion. I want to hear yours down below. Please, if you like this video, like, subscribe, share it wherever you can on any social media platform. I'll have my TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all three down below. You can go follow me. And if you guys got through this whole video, thank you so much. I'm just trying to grow this channel. My first 4 videos have just been all political talk. And there's been a lot of that lately in the news. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot to continue up to the next couple months through the election. So I'll be talking a lot about this. I'm going to try to get other more diversified content on here in terms of, I have some funny stuff I want to upload. I haven't done that yet, but I have a couple videos I want to edit and see if I can come through here and make people laugh at the same time, have these serious conversations that need to be had. But thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.